Hello, welcome to another session of ERPNext training for accountants and business owners. In the last video, we have discussed chart of account, entering journal, and taking reports like profit and loss, a ledger, and balance sheet, and all of that. Today, we are going to discuss buying and selling. If you haven't watched last video, please go and watch and then come back to here, because this is a continuation and it's part of a long series which will cover all the ERP activities on an accountant and business owner's perspective. So let's start now straight into buying and selling. Let's look at the menu. Again, there is buying and there is selling. So we'll first go to buying, and you can see there are multiple steps, which is material request. Material request is basically when you are getting a request from your shop salesman or your project manager or the site supervisor. They will send you a request of materials. Then they themselves enter, because they have less privileged screen. They can enter this, but they cannot enter other things. So they will just enter and leave it for you. Then you will ask your purchase departments. People will ask for the quotation from various suppliers. You will enter it here. Then you will compare the price and the pre-qualification, etc. Then you will make a purchase order to your supplier. After that, they will send you a purchase invoice. Then that purchase order, you will enter it here, so you can match your supplier and your invoices, your statements. After that, you will receive the items and you will make the payment. Either way, you can go it other way around, like you make advance payment and then they will make the supply. So in this part, we are not covering material request, purchase order. We'll do purchase order. We are not doing material request for quotation and supplier quotation. We will just do purchase order and purchase invoice. So first, we are making a purchase order. I'll tell you the step first. Step number 1, we are sending a PO, purchase order, to a supplier. Then supplier will send you a PA, that's, you can say, Proforma invoice. In the Gulf region, we call it Proforma invoice, or it's a simple invoice. They are sending it to us from supplier. The number 3, we will enter it on our ERP. Then after that, we will make the payment. Let's assume we are starting a company, so without advance payment, they are not going to give us the material. Then after that, we will receive the items. Then after that, we will make statements. We will create the statements like trial balance, balance sheet, and all, profit and loss. This we will understand. We will make basic reports from this. So let's start straight into this. You can either go by from the menu. From the menu, there is buying and selling. We'll use this buy, or as we discussed, you can type it here and you can go from here. Let's put it here, buying, and we will make a purchase order. Let's create a purchase order. To whom we are creating this purchase order? There should be a supplier. We haven't created any supplier so far, but we are creating it now on the fly. Supplier 01 is the supplier name. To understand it easily, we are giving names like that, supplier, customer and all. In the real life, it will not be there. And local is, within a country. We will do international purchasing with multiple currencies in the future video. So I have entered an item called pen. You can go to here in the I'll take another screen. We are not doing stock in this video, inventory and stock not doing in this video, but we will do it in a later video. But I will show you where I have entered pen. It's in the stock. There are items, and here you can enter your items, pen or pencil or whatever. I put pen, and this required by, let's say, this week itself, and I'll buy 100, and quantity I'll put 9, that is, so the amount will be 900. This is a purchase order you are sending to supplier 1, and I'm saving it. Okay, so we need to submit it. In the last video we have explained the difference between save and submit. I'm just submitting it. So it is there. We have done a purchase order. We sent it to supplier 01. The next step, the supplier will send you an invoice, normally a Proforma invoice, or an invoice itself for advance payment. We will make an advance payment in this video. You can, once the business is established, you will get the credit terms with them. You can do it that way. Right now we are just, once you send the purchase order, they are sending you a PI, and that PI we are entering in the system here. Supplier. Okay, you can see here one tab, get item from. Almost all the screens you can see it here. So if you have entered the items, because you have long list of items, probably hundreds of items purchased from one vendor. So if you have entered it in the purchase order or in the quotation or anywhere, you can just pull it from here, so you don't need to enter it again. So I'll just show that here. So I'm just going and get the details from the purchase order that we have entered in the past. So get the items, getting the items, and it is here. The details are here. Pen, we are ordering 100 quantities of pen with 9 real, and its total is 900 real. See that? Now I'm saving it. It's there are some fields here. Is paid, not paid. Is it a return? No, it's not a return. There are multiple options. The advanced stage anyway we will come back. We are doing it. This only our second video. I'm just doing it here. Save. Okay, I saved the document, and I will submit the document. Done. So I have submitted a purchase invoice. Now let's see what happened. It's in an accounting terms. What it done what happened? Look, when you are doing a purchase invoice, it creates an entry into chart of accounts. In the accounts. So here, what we can see, there are two accounts. One is 2100 and the other one is 2210. This one is creditor. The creditor, now once you have made this this purchase invoice, the creditor we already noted in our accounts that 900 reals we owe to a supplier. We owe to a supplier. The supplier name is supplier 01, and it made another entry, that is stock received but not, what is that? I'll show it here in the accounts. So if you got here on the chart of accounts, look at here, it is, once we have entered an invoice from the supplier and we have not paid it, then that means we have a liability, new liability. Last time we have discussed the liability, equity, assets and everything. Again, I repeat, if you haven't watched that video, go back, watch it and come back. Now we have a liability here. This creditor is a liability for us now. I mean, this current liability, the supplier, his name is supplier 01. Supplier 01 is a liability for us now. We have to pay him 900. But that's not the interesting part in this, that's obvious. And there is another account, you can see it here, stock 2210. 2210, what is 2210? Look at here on the chart of account. 2210 is a stock received but not billed. What does it mean? Here, what is happening in this entry? Once you are making a supplier invoice, we actually have not paid him, and he didn't deliver any material so far. So we are putting it in a temporary account. In the accounting terms, this is stock received but not billed. This account, once we get the material from the supplier, it will actually go to our assets, because once we get the material, it's our asset. So once we get the material, it will go from here to our asset, from here to asset. Now it is temporarily staying there. It's just an accounting practice. It will stay here as a stock liability until we are getting. Now this is first one step, and when you look back to our screen, what do you see? Once we get it, once we enter that purchase invoice, the next thing that we have to do is to make a payment. So in the last session we said we have how much we have in the bank, HSBC bank, from last session. Let me check it. HSBC bank, we had some amount, current assets we have on bank account, HSBC bank. We have enough money. We have 2500 2500 real we have already in HSBC. So we'll make a payment to the supplier from HSBC. That's what you are going to do next. So after that, he will send items to us. So go to here, take that purchase invoice. Okay, here on the buying, purchase invoice, this is the supplier invoice, supplier 01, and here we haven't made the payment. I will make the payment now. There is, you can see it here, payment entries. You can see various options here, payment, to see its purchase order related to that, journal related to that, all of this. Now or click on the payment, not on the payment entry, this plus sign, because we are going to make a payment here on the plus. Okay, I'm making a payment here. For this item, you just verify that this 900, everything is okay, and where we are going to pay, from which account, we will put it here, HSBC, because it's default, our only bank is showing here. So I'm making the payment. See, save this entry, or we need a reference and check number. A check number is here. Accounts. Check number. Put to this is our first check, and it will be drawn tomorrow because it's an advance payment. See, now we are submitting it and see what's happening now. Now you can see the ledger here. From creditors, it's 900 gone to him, and HSBC account 900 is now down. If you go to chart of accounts, see, we had 2500 now in the bank account. Now we have 1600. Fair. Here the HSBC account. You go to ledger and see. I mean, the last video, if you remember, John put 2000 in the HSBC account, Mary put 1000, and we paid 500 as a for the shop, for renting the shop. We had 2500 at that time. Now we have paid 900 again, and now we have only balance 1600. So that's the way you are looking at the ledger. Now we come back to chart of account again, and we have a liability. We had a liability with this with the supplier, this creditor. Now look at the ledger. We have already cleared that. It's 0 now. We had 900 liability. Then we paid 900 now. Then it is 0 now. The closing balance is 0. We can take supplier statements separately, not as an account. We have supplier statements. I'll show you later. Then now on the ledger side, if you come back and look at the purchase invoice, there's no change. It will show here it's paid. It's paid. Thanks. Then what's the next step? What you do if you want to buy something? We are issued PO. We are got the invoice PA, and then we made the payment. Then we have to receive the items. Then only the cycle stop. Look, now we need to make, how's that? Now we are going to make a payment. Add a payment entry. Oh, not this way. I'm sorry. Welcome back. We had some technical issues. Sorry for that. Now, if the steps we were discussing before that break, we have made the payment. Now we have to receive the items. We have to receive the items in the stores. So what we do, we go to stock, because it's generally what happens. You are sitting in an office, there is a store or there is a godown or wherever. You are not the one actually receiving the items. They have separate permission for this, and they will open their own screen. Here, for the demo purpose, we are doing all of it. So they have the permission to open purchase receipt. So in this, the storekeeper or the store manager will open purchase receipt and make an entry. And when you are making this entry, so before I told you, there is a menu here. You can just pull all the items, and I'll pull it from a purchase order that we have entered. First, let's select the supplier 01, and you pull the items from here. Pull the items from here, the purchase order, and see the items are here, 900. Then we save it and submit, of course. What happens to this entry in the accounts? You can see two or three things here. One is stock ledger. On the inventory side, we will come and discuss it. But as a preview, you can see on the store, we can have multiple stores. We will discuss that when we are discussing inventory. We will see that. On this is the default store, and we have received 100 quantity of pen. 100 quantity of pen we have received here. Okay, and there is a voucher number and everything. It's auto generated. We can put our own. It depends how you deal with your supplier. Then we go back to here. That's the stock ledger. You will know in the stock ledger. Actually, you will know how much came, how much gone, and what is the remaining quantity. And in the accounting ledger, you can see we have made an interesting entry here that we have discussed here. We have discussed here about a strange entry that we have made before. That is on the journal, not on the journal, on the chart of accounts. On the liability side, we have made an entry that was just for an adjustment. We have discussed that in the stock liabilities. As such, stock received but not billed. But now it's cleared. What happened to that? Before, when we invoiced, but when we haven't received the item, we just put it as an entry. Now we received the item and we moved it into the actual stock. You can see it here. We moved it into here in the actual stock, and you can see it here on the current assets. You can see the stock assets. You have actually now you have 900 worth of items in your store. That's the trick, and all the entry related to this is like that. From stock received but not billed went to stock in hand. Now the accounting for that invoicing is clear. Now if you look into that, what are all things happened? We paid money from HSBC to the supplier. You can get that financial statement, trial balance. You can see that all the entries here from HSBC source from the for the creditor we paid 900. From HSBC we have taken 900, and now we have assets. I'll show you the assets. Okay, I'll take balance sheet. So on the balance sheet we still have 2500. How it came? Because what happened, we had an asset of 2500 inside HSBC. In HSBC we had we had 2500. Then we paid 900 to a supplier. Then HSBC got, it will be like 1600, right? This HSBC amount. Then after that what happened? The supplier sent us 900 real worth of material. So again you add it here, but not this time to HSBC. It is on stock in hand. See, now total is how much? Again 2500. So our asset is still there, it's not gone anywhere, but it's moved from HSBC to stock. It's clear? In fact, we have a live Q and A session every week, so subscribe this channel. So if you have any doubt, we can explain that. Subscribe this channel, so we will always update you about the new videos, new events, and everything related to that. This is the way it happened on that. That's the reason you see total assets still 2500, and total equity, it is again our partners, they have still the equity. And about the profit and loss, we still have 500 loss. Why? Because we haven't made any revenue so far. Before selling we cannot make a revenue. In the next video we will make selling. Now we have done chart of account. Now buying we have done. In the next video we will do selling. Thank you for joining, and please subscribe, so we will update you whenever we are releasing the next video. That will cover selling, and later stock, inventory, HR modules, salary payment, and all of this we will cover all. It's a multiple series video, so please subscribe our video, and we will update you on when the next video we are releasing. Thank you for joining.